Every woman wants a man she can't control. Most men lose before they even play, because they seek to be loved when they should be desired. Machiavelli would say, seduction is not kindness, it's controlled power. Before you learn to conquer, learn not to beg. Today you're going to learn the 5 ruthless laws of Machiavellian attraction. Not to make you chase, but to make her chase you. But first, let me tell you something most dating coaches won't admit. They're selling you comfort. They're teaching you to be nice, to be understanding, to always be there. And where does that get you? The friend zone, the backup option? The safe choice she settles for when all the exciting options disappear. The reality is brutal. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you gain real power. Seduction isn't about looks, status, or pickup lines. It's about psychological energy and controlled emotional imbalance. People desire what they can't control. Tension beats comfort. Mystery beats predictability. Desire doesn't come from closeness. It comes from the space between you and her. Think about every movie, every story, every song about passion. It's never about the stable guy who's always there. It's about the one who left, the one who came back, the one who couldn't be tamed, the one who remained a mystery even when standing right in front of her. There's an invisible game happening in every romantic interaction. Most men don't even know they're playing. And that's why they lose. They confuse proximity with connection, availability with interest, transparency with honesty. But the truth is colder than you'd like to hear. What is rare has power. What is abundant is ignored. This is not opinion. This is psychology. This is economics. This is human nature. Scarcity creates value. Always has. Always will. Whether we're talking about diamonds, opportunities, or attention from a high-value man, you see this principle everywhere. The restaurant with a 3-month waiting list. The limited edition sneakers people camp out for. The artist who only releases music when they feel like it. Their scarcity doesn't hurt their value. It multiplies it. And yet, when it comes to relationships, men abandon this principle completely. They make themselves abundantly available, always responding, always there, always ready to drop everything. And they wonder why she loses interest. First law, emotional scarcity creates value. Rare men don't explain everything. They don't always show up. They're not emotionally available at any cost. It's not being cold, it's being selective. Think about the most common mistake. Long messages, endless justifications, need for immediate response. The insecure man turns every conversation into proof that he cares. He thinks the more he shows, the more she values him. He sends good morning texts, good night texts, how was your day texts, checking in constantly, making sure she knows he's thinking about her every single moment. He shares every detail of his day, what he ate for lunch, what his coworker said, what he's watching on Netflix. He believes that more communication equals deeper connection, that constant updates equal intimacy. Fatal error. Because what he's really communicating is this: I have nothing else going on in my life. You are my entire world. I'm waiting by my phone for your response. My emotional state depends on your attention. I need you to validate my existence. And the moment she realizes this, her attraction dies. Not because she's cruel, but because desire doesn't work that way. You cannot negotiate desire. You cannot logic someone into wanting you. Attraction is not a choice. It's a response to specific triggers. And one of those triggers is the sense that she's competing for your attention, that your time is valuable. That being chosen by you actually means something because you don't choose everyone. The Machiavellian model works differently. Give her presence, then give her distance. When you're present, be completely present, intense, focused. Make her feel like she's the only person in the world in that moment. Give her a taste of something incredible. Eye contact that penetrates. Conversation that goes beyond surface level. Attention that makes her feel truly seen. Not just heard, but understood. Not just noticed, but valued. Create moments of genuine connection where time seems to stop. Then disappear, not with anger, not with dirty games, not with passive-aggressive behavior. Simply return to your life. Your projects, your goals, your mission. The things that made you interesting in the first place. And here's what happens in her mind. She had something incredible, then it was gone, and now she wants it back. She replays the conversation, analyzes every word you said, wonders when she experienced that again. Power never chases. Power lets her wonder. When you're always available, always responding, always present, you become predictable. And predictable is invisible. She knows she can have you anytime, so why make an effort? Why would she? You've already shown your cards. You've already demonstrated that she has all the power, that you'll be there regardless of how she treats you. Think about your own experience. The things you have easy access to, do you value them? Or do you take them for granted? The streaming service you barely watch even though you pay for it. The gym membership you never use. The opportunities you ignore because they'll always be there. But the concert tickets that sold out in 5 minutes? The reservation at that exclusive restaurant? The limited opportunity that won't come again, those you value? Those you prioritize? Those you make time for? Emotional scarcity does the opposite of availability. It creates a void, and the human mind hates voids. It needs to fill them, needs to understand, needs to get it back. She starts thinking about you when you're not there, wondering what you're doing, who you're with, why you haven't texted, whether she did something wrong. And suddenly the dynamic shifts. She's the one chasing. She's the one seeking validation. She's the one who can't stop thinking about you. She's refreshing her messages, checking her phone, crafting the perfect text to send you, hoping you'll respond quickly. That's the first weapon of Machiavellian attraction. Don't be abundant. Be rare. But here's what most men get wrong when they try to apply this. They go from constantly available to completely ghost. From dozens of messages to zero. From always present to never around. And it comes across as exactly what it is, a game, a manipulation, a tactic. Real scarcity isn't performed, it's authentic. You're not pretending to be busy, you actually are busy. Building something, creating something. Pursuing a mission that matters more than any single woman. When she texts and you don't respond for 3 hours, it's not because you're staring at your phone counting minutes. It's because you were genuinely focused on something important and didn't even notice the notification. You were in flow state. Deep in your work, absorbed in your purpose. That's the difference between strategy and manipulation. Strategy comes from a place of abundance and genuine value. Manipulation comes from scarcity and fear. One is sustainable and attractive. The other is exhausting and transparent. Second law, control what you reveal, never explain. Let her interpret. Explaining too much is begging to be understood. Machiavelli said, "Whoever needs to prove they're worthy has already lost." When you explain, you place yourself below. You assume the position of someone who owes an explanation. And explanations are emotional debt. Most men operate from a place of constant justification. They feel the need to explain their actions, their choices, their feelings, their whereabouts, as if they owe the world an explanation for existing. As if their decisions require approval from others to be valid. This comes from a deep insecurity. A fear that if people knew the real reason, they'd judge. So they over-explain, trying to control the narrative, trying to make sure everyone understands their perspective, seeking validation for their choices. "See the practical example?" she asks. "Why did you disappear?" The insecure man responds, "Sorry, I was feeling down, had some problems, you know how it is, nothing personal. I didn't mean to ghost you. Work has been crazy. My phone died. I was dealing with some stuff. Are you mad at me? I hope you're not upset. I really didn't mean to ignore you." He's doing multiple things wrong here. He's apologizing for having a life. He's over-explaining. He's seeking her approval. He's making himself small. He's asking permission to have his own space. He's treating his absence like a crime that requires justification. And worse, he's giving multiple reasons, which communicates that he's not confident in any of them. If work was really that crazy, that would be enough. But he piles on excuse after excuse, hoping one will stick. The Machiavellian man responds, "I show up when it's worth being present." 9 words, no apology, no justification, no seeking of approval, just a simple statement of his standard. Take it or leave it. See the difference? In the first case, he justifies himself, diminishes himself, apologizes for something that shouldn't be a crime. He's essentially saying, I'm sorry for not making you my entire priority. Please forgive me for having other things in my life. I need you to be okay with this. In the second case, he simply declares a standard. And standards don't ask for permission. He's saying, I have a life. I have priorities. When I'm with you, it's because I chose to be. Not because I have nothing better to do. Not because I'm afraid of losing you. Because in this moment, being present with you is what I want. When you explain too much, you give away your entire game. She sees your cards, sees your insecurities, sees that you need her approval to feel good about yourself. And the moment she realizes that, desire dies. Women are incredibly perceptive. They read between the lines, they sense weakness. They can smell desperation from a mile away. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who needs validation. A man who needs her to tell him he's good enough. A man who requires constant reassurance that he's doing the right thing. The result is simple. Instead of you chasing answers, she starts asking questions. She wants to understand you. Wants to figure you out. And while she's trying to understand you, she's thinking about you. And thinking is the first stage of desire. Mystery creates obsession. When she can't quite figure you out, when there are pieces of you that remain hidden, when you don't explain every feeling and every action, she becomes fascinated. Her mind starts filling in the blanks, creating stories, imagining possibilities. And here's the key, whatever she imagines will be more interesting than the mundane reality. Her version of you, the one built from mystery and imagination, will always be more compelling than the guy who explains every thought in his head. This doesn't mean being dishonest. It means being selective. It means understanding that not everything needs to be said. That silence can be more powerful than words. That what you don't reveal can be more attractive than what you do. Think about every person you've been fascinated by. Were they the ones who told you everything? Who shared every detail of their internal world? Who explained every decision they made? Or were they the ones who remained slightly out of reach? The ones with depth you couldn't quite access? The ones who seemed to have entire worlds inside them that you weren't quite invited into? The most magnetic people maintain mystery, not through deception, but through discretion. They know the power of the unsaid, the value of keeping some things to themselves. Third law, silent power, dominance without words. True leaders don't shout, they don't need to. You control with the pace of your speech, with pauses, with a steady gaze, with slow, deliberate movements. There's more power in silence than in 1,000 words. If you can stay calm under pressure, you win the frame. The frame is the emotional structure of the interaction. It's who sets the tone, who controls the energy, who determines the direction, who decides what matters and what doesn't. Whoever is nervous, whoever is reacting, whoever is trying to convince, has lost the frame. Whoever is calm, centered, present without urgency, controls the frame. Watch any powerful person, a CEO in a boardroom, a general giving orders, a master negotiator closing a deal. They don't rush, they don't fidget, they don't fill every silence with nervous chatter. They move through the world like they own it. Not arrogantly, not aggressively, just confidently, centered in their own power. They speak slowly, deliberately, every word chosen with care, and between their words, silence. Pregnant pauses that force everyone else to lean in, to pay attention, to wait for what comes next. Practical exercise. Count to 2 before answering any question from her. Seems simple, but it changes everything. When you respond immediately, you seem anxious, desperate for connection, like you've been waiting by the phone for her message. Like her question is the most important thing in your world. Like you have nothing else to think about. When you pause, you seem thoughtful, in control. Someone who chooses their words because they carry weight. Someone whose attention is valuable because it's not freely given to everyone at all times. Someone who thinks before speaking because what they say actually matters. That 2-second pause communicates volumes. It says, I'm considering this. I'm not reactive. I'm not scrambling for approval. I'm responding from a place of center, not a place of need. Silence has 2 powerful effects. First, it creates tension, and tension is emotional electricity. It makes people lean forward, pay attention, wonder what's happening in that silence. That pause becomes loaded with possibility and meaning. The space between your words becomes as important as the words themselves. Second, it forces the other person to fill the void. And when she fills the void, she reveals more than she should. She starts talking, explaining, seeking your approval, justifying herself. And with every word, she gives you more information about her psychology, her insecurities, her desires, her fears. Most people are terrified of silence. In conversation, they experience it as failure, as awkwardness, as something that needs to be fixed immediately. So they rush to fill it with whatever comes to mind. Weak men fill silence with empty words, because silence makes them uncomfortable. They think they need to entertain, impress, keep the conversation alive. They're terrified of those gaps in conversation, those moments where nothing is being said. They fear that if they stop talking, she lose interest, that the connection will break, that she get bored. So they talk about the weather, ask generic questions, make jokes that don't land, share random thoughts that don't need to be shared. Fill the air with noise because the alternative, silence, feels like failure. Strong men use silence as a tool. They know the discomfort isn't theirs, it's hers. They can sit in silence comfortably because they're comfortable in their own presence. They don't need constant validation through conversation. They don't need to prove anything. They can simply be without needing to fill every moment with sound. And when she feels uncomfortable, she moves toward you to resolve that tension. She starts the conversation. She asks the questions. She seeks your validation. The entire dynamic flips. Suddenly you're the prize. You're the one whose attention she's seeking. You're the one she's trying to impress. This principle extends beyond conversation. It's about your entire energy. Are you rushed? Anxious? Always moving quickly because you're afraid of missing something? Or are you grounded? Present? Moving through the world with deliberate intent? Women notice this. They feel your energy before they hear your words. If your energy is scattered and anxious, no clever line will save you. If your energy is grounded and powerful, you barely need to say anything at all. Your energy enters the room before you do. It lingers after you leave. It's the invisible force that makes her feel either safe or anxious, either attracted or repelled. And you cannot fake it. You either have that centered masculine energy or you don't. Fourth law, calculated unpredictability. Desire is born in the mind, not the body. If she always knows what you feel, your value drops. The human mind is stimulated by novelty, uncertainty, the unexpected. When you become predictable, you become invisible. You fade into the background of her life like furniture she stopped noticing years ago. Think about anything you've ever been addicted to. Video games, social media, gambling, checking your phone for notifications. What do they all have in common? Variable rewards. You don't know exactly when the next reward is coming. So you keep checking, keep playing, keep scrolling, hoping this time will be different. The psychology is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's the most powerful form of behavioral conditioning known to science. More powerful than constant rewards. More powerful than no rewards. It's the sweet spot that creates obsession. If a slot machine paid out every time, people would play once and leave. Boring, predictable, no mystery. If it never paid out, people would stop playing immediately. Pointless, no hope. But when it pays out randomly, unpredictably, people become obsessed. Just one more pull, just one more try. Maybe this time? How to apply this to attraction. 2 intense days of conversation. Deep, meaningful, making her feel incredibly connected to you. Texts that make her laugh. Voice notes that make her think. Conversations that go until 3 in the morning because neither of you wants to stop. Then 1 day of silence. Not explained, not justified. Just distance. She goes from having your full attention to having none, and her mind starts racing. Did I say something wrong? Is he busy? Is he with someone else? Why did he pull back? A sincere, deep, genuine compliment. Something that shows you really see her, that goes beyond surface level, that makes her feel truly understood and valued. Not, "You're hot," which every guy says. But I respect how you pursue your goals even when people doubt you, which shows you actually pay attention. Then distance, pull back, shift focus. Don't follow up the compliment with more attention. Don't wait for her to reciprocate. Just state it and move on. Leave her processing what you said, wondering what it means. Wondering if you'll give her more? When she expects more attention, you shift focus. When she thinks she's figured out your pattern, you change it. Just when she thinks you're pulling away, you lean in. Just when she thinks you're all in, you create space. This isn't being cold, it's creating emotional tension. It's keeping her mind engaged, wondering, trying to predict you and failing. Her brain becomes focused on solving the puzzle of you. Psychologically, this is called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same mechanism that creates addiction in games, social media, casinos. You don't know when the reward comes. So you become obsessed trying to find out. She doesn't know when she get your attention again, so she starts seeking it, checking her phone more, analyzing your behavior, trying to figure out what triggers your warmth. The uncertainty drives her crazy, in the best way, because her brain is now focused on solving you, figuring you out, predicting when you'll be warm and when you'll be distant. And all that mental energy she's spending on you, that's investment. And humans value what they invest in. But attention, unpredictability is not chaos. It's strategy. You're not being inconsistent because you're confused. You're being inconsistent because you're creating an emotional pattern she can't control. There's a method to it. You know exactly what you're doing and why. Random chaos is just confusing and off-putting. It communicates instability, unreliability, lack of character. Strategic unpredictability is intriguing and magnetic. It communicates complexity, depth, a man who cannot be easily categorized or controlled. The difference is that you're in control. You know what you're doing and why. You're not reactive. You're not being hot and cold because your emotions are unstable. You're choosing when to give attention and when to withhold it based on what creates the strongest emotional response. The key is in the balance. Give pleasure, then withdraw. Give validation, then challenge. Be close, then distant. But always consciously, always with intention, never from weakness. Never from insecurity. Never as a reaction to your own emotions spiraling out of control. Here's what this looks like in practice. You have an amazing date. Deep conversation, real connection. Chemistry that's undeniable. At the end, instead of immediately planning the next one, you say, "This was great," and leave it there. Let her wonder, let her reach out. Let her do some of the work. You're texting back and forth. The conversation is flowing, then you stop mid-conversation, not rudely, just naturally. You got busy, you had something else to do. You weren't sitting there waiting for her next message. She's left in that state of engagement, wondering when you'll respond. Her mind stays with you even though you're not responding. You compliment her intelligence, her ambition. Something real. Then next time you see her, you challenge her on something. You disagree, you push back. You're not a yes man. You have your own opinions and you're not afraid to express them even if she disagrees. This creates a dynamic where she never quite knows what to expect, and that uncertainty keeps her engaged. Keeps her thinking, keeps her invested in figuring you out. She can't categorize you, can't predict you, can't control you. And that makes you fascinating. But never lose sight of this. The unpredictability should lean positive. She should feel generally good around you. The uncertainty should be about when she gets your attention, not whether you're a good person. You're not playing mind games. You're not being cruel. You're just not being predictable. You're not being safe. You're being exciting. Fifth law, never make her your necessity. Only your choice. You can want her, but never need her. The day she feels you need her to feel complete, it's over. Female desire is paradoxical. She wants you to choose her, but she wants you to be strong enough to live without her. This is the ultimate paradox of attraction. She wants to be important to you, but not essential. She wants to add value to your life, but not be the source of all your happiness. She wants to be chosen, but she wants you to be complete enough that choosing her is a luxury, not a necessity. The power phrase is this: I choose you, but I don't need you. That's what creates real desire, real respect. And even real love, because love based on need is a prison. Love based on choice is freedom, and people admire freedom, not prison. They want to be with someone who chooses them, not someone who needs them to function. When you make her your necessity, you reverse the power dynamic. You give her all the control. And no one desires someone who's completely under their control. It's too easy, too safe, too predictable. There's no challenge, no mystery, no reason to work for it. Think about it from her perspective. If she knows you'll do anything to keep her, if she knows you need her to be happy, if she knows your entire emotional state depends on her, what incentive does she have to work for your attention? What reason does she have to maintain attraction? To stay in shape? To be interesting? To bring value? None. She has all the power. She can treat you however she wants because you've demonstrated you'll stay anyway. You've shown that you're not going anywhere regardless of how she behaves, that you need her more than she needs you. And the person who needs the relationship more always has less power. But when you make her your choice, you maintain your own power. You're saying, I have my life, my goals, my mission. And you're a valuable addition to that, not the foundation of it. You enhance what's already good. You don't create it from nothing. This means you were happy before her. You'll be happy after her if it doesn't work out. Your life has meaning and purpose independent of any relationship. You're choosing to include her in your life because she enhances it, not because you need her to complete it. That's the difference between a man who is chosen and a man who is tolerated. Women don't want to be your entire world. They want to be part of your world. A world that was already interesting before they showed up. This is why men with mission are attractive. The mission proves you have something you care about more than female approval. Something that gives your life meaning independent of any woman. And paradoxically, that independence makes them more attractive, not less. Now comes the practical part, a 7-day plan. This isn't theory, this is action. Day 1, respond slower. Finish what you're doing first, then respond. The goal is to genuinely have things in your life that take priority over texting. Day 2, 1 intentional silence. Leave one question unanswered for a period, not out of anger, but to create space. Day 3, disappear for 12 hours without explanation. You're not doing anything wrong. You're living your life. Day 4, give a compliment about character, not appearance, something that shows you really pay attention. Then, silence. Day 5, end a conversation first. Even if it's going well, especially if it's going well. Day 6, ask a question that demands revelation, not information. Ask what scares her, what inspires her, what she'd do if she knew she couldn't fail. Day 7, review. Did you react or lead? Did you chase or attract? Did you explain yourself or maintain mystery? These 7 days will start reprogramming your energy. And she feel it, because energy doesn't lie. Seduction isn't about love. It's about emotional influence. About creating a dynamic where she feels attracted by what you are, by the space you occupy, by the presence you command. You can't negotiate attraction. These things happen on a subconscious level, in the realm of instinct and emotion. Do you prefer to be loved like everyone else or desired like few? Most men will ignore all of this. They'll go back to their long messages, their justifications, their chasing, and they'll keep losing. But you're not most men. If you were, you wouldn't be here. If you want part 2, how to make her emotionally addicted without even touching her, leave it in the comments. And remember, power never chases, power attracts. Be that man, build that energy. Live that reality. The choice is yours, the path is clear. The question is whether you have the courage to walk it.